Today we use equipment to grant ability sets, including dynamically adding input mapping context for keybinds. We are now at ability 05, so we learned a lot how to grant abilities. One of the first methods was just adding them permanently through the pan class. Then the next one was more granting it during the gameplay event, activating it like in the reskinner. And now we really will use equipment with the Lyra equipment definition that will come with whole ability sets to add and some graphical components like a Lyra tagged actor. Including there is the input mapping context, so the ability in this regard comes with their own key bindings so that we can really bundle the ability into one thing and give it on event. Repeating it, the first thing that was, as I said, the permanently fixed ability set. That might be for abilities that you know will be there the whole gameplay. So you just go to your pawn class and add one or more ability sets here. But you see, here in our case it's totally empty, so this pawn will start without any given abilities. Next thing, as an example, that was, for example, the skin changer that we did, where we added or removed a tagged actor class, and that was within this grant give ability and activate once and then taking it directly back again. That is another possibility, a very dynamic one. With equipment, we are kind of in the middle. You give an equipment to a character that cannot be graphical with a graphical component, and with that equipment comes an ability set. Prerequisite is here to be able to equip something, and that is the equipment manager component that you need to add to the pan, otherwise it will not work. So here, for example, in the experience definition, we make sure that our BPBA hero has this equipment component manager. Now we need this Lyra equipment definitions. We have here new folder equipment and have here one of these Lyra equipment definitions. And if you open that, you see two things. The one thing is the ability set to grant, one of many, and the other thing is an actor to spawn that can be empty in this case actually, or it gives you something graphical. The ability set, is just the connection between the input tags and the gameplay abilities that can be triggered, and the tagged actor here that we span that it was a pistol, but it's actually empty at the moment, so the mesh component is really empty, so it does not do much. But that is something where we will dive deeper, just granting things that you can see visibly with abilities attached, gameplay effects attached, and so on and so on. To pass information between the different actors here, we use this struct. If you open that struct, that is just a Lyra character and an array of abilities to be granted. That will be the one that we are passing between the actors. Now let's think what do we use in the level to trigger this whole chain of events. We have a small blueprint here. If you go to the level here, the demo room blueprints, you have this BP ability granter, and that granter mainly has this class here, get equipment granted. That class is not something that comes here in event graph, it comes from the interface again. So again, we use an interface to communicate between the different actors. Let's go to the class settings. There you see the interface that is implemented here, grant ability through equipment. And that will be the deciding interface that is looked upon, and if there's something, then this get equipment granted can be triggered. We have two important things, grant to these actors and grant these equipment. So if one of the actors that I will grant something to is overlapping, for example, then I will grant a list of equipment, build a struct, and give it back to the actor that I had an event with, overlapping or whatever. If not, I just build an empty struct and give back this one. Okay, now let's think about how the whole thing is triggered from the hero point of view. The hero obviously wants to call this event. This is a bit the graphical side, not much here, more kind of using the teleporter and that's it already. If you place it in a level, you will actually see this public variables from the outside. So I can grant to these actors, only these will get something from me. Then I will grant these equipments, and they come with ability sets on their own. And then last, I will grant these mapping contexts because the abilities might have the need for certain key bindings that are not there yet. So if that is all set, we have to think about what is the hero actually doing from the outside, what things need to happen in the hero class the moment he is, for example, overlapping with our ability granter. Looking at the hero, we have first an overlap event. We start with the overlap event. In this event, again, we check with what we did overlap. We are not casting. We look again, what is the interface implemented in that overlapping actor. Here it's grant abilities. And if we find that interface, and if we have here, see interface get ability granted. If we find the interface, we know that get ability granted is available. So we actually can fire that. And the moment we ask for it, we will get hopefully a list of equipment. And if that is not empty, then we will start setting our new equipment, setting our new input mapping context, and then we start a chain actually equipping and remapping. The equipping and especially the remapping needs to jump between server and client because, for example, equipping things and adding abilities that is server only, whereas everything around the keyboard bindings that is client only. So we really have to jump between both to make that happen. We start with clear input context that is really just throwing away all input mappings that we have. It's a bit radical. You might make it a bit more fine-grained in your game. Be careful, parts of them are already 5.2, so you might have to kind of migrate, just reinstall completely, copy the plugin as it's shown in the GitHub website, and you can do that. After we cleared all our input mappings, we add abilities, that is server only. So first thing, we clear all abilities to get rid of everything old. Then we equip all the items. We'll get automatically all gameplay abilities with it. And then we reload our input maps because now we are finished and want to have the new input mappings. So that's it. Server and client are communicating, and now we can try that out. Now let's try that out. We launch the game. We will copy here the show debug ability system to be able to see what abilities are currently loaded. You see there are none on the left side. Now we go over our ability granter. You see a list of ability appearing, coming with the empty equipment that we have here. And yeah, actually now we can use abilities, for example, our teleporter. So closing that down, and that's it for the moment. So now we have an ability system that can be granted through different means. We have dynamic keyboard mappings if you want. We now think about what to do with it, what kind of actors can actually trigger these abilities, and especially how do we communicate between the abilities and everything else in the game. Thank you very much and see you soon. Bye.